Hello, everybody, and welcome to a new episode of the 5D Show. This is your host, Sean. We've got Alex, the producer here. He's got the headset on here. And we are joined by Chad Hoskin. He's the founder of Barbell Box and Barbarian Blades. So those are two pretty cool companies. Chad, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, man. How are you?
Oh, not too bad. Making do with how things are. Starting to get used to the new normal, I guess they're calling it.
Yeah.
So what's it been like for your business and the Barbell Box? Has there been any noticeable change here in the last couple of months, or how's it been?
Yeah, when this was first announced and things with COVID-19 started happening, I was panicking, but I tried to stay calm on the outside, and I thought it was game over. I thought we were in trouble. I wasn't really sure how it was going to affect us. I thought it was going to launch us into a recession pretty quickly. I thought people's wallets were going to tighten up, that things like supplements were going to become more of a luxury good than a necessity. And first week into lockdown, when we were all staying at home, things started going crazy. We started having $1,000 days, $2,000 days, and it just kept picking up. And I thought maybe, it was a one-off. Maybe it was just, that one day, that 2 days in a row. But then it started happening almost every day. And it's just been crazy. I guess with gyms being closed and supplement stores being closed and people having to stay home, this turned into something extraordinary for us. And we've tripled in the last 2 months. And even today, like it's not slowing down. It hasn't stopped. And I mean, this is something as an entrepreneur you dream about, right? You want something this to happen and you wait for it. And at the same time, it presents its own set of challenges, because these are things like we just weren't prepared for this kind of volume now. So it's coming with its own challenges, but we're rolling with it. And yeah, we're really excited because things have been great.
Yeah, that's awesome. And as you said, like kind of caught everybody by surprise there. So I don't think anyone business wise knew what to expect. But that's good that you guys have been maintaining and actually improving, which is crazy to think. But I guess, like you said, with the gyms being closed and even supplement stores and stuff that people, those fitness people that are into health and fitness, they're still gonna want that something like your company provides. Like, so that's not gonna really slow down, I guess. But no, that's crazy that you guys are doing well. And is it just you, and who helps you with the business running it?
It's funny because when you get like a customer email or like a customer service email, you can tell that some people think that you're like this giant corporation, and just the way they talk to you right off the bat, right? Like you've had no interaction with this person on a one-to-one basis at all, but then they come at you guns blazing, right? And and they don't know that you're not this big corporation. And when they find out it's just my wife and I, like we're just a two-man team pulling this off. And when they find that out, their tone completely changes when they find out it's like a small family-owned business. So yeah, it's just my wife and I. And she was a full-time teacher when I started this, and I kind of started it out of necessity. And it just grew and grew and grew. And she ended up quitting her job and joining me full time, because I just couldn't handle everything that was going on. And I mean, if I didn't have her by my side doing the stuff that she's really good at, we wouldn't still be around. There's no way. We would have collapsed and died a long time ago. So yeah, it's just a two-man team, but the two-man team is strong and it works.
Yeah, that's incredible. That's quite the feat that just the two of you were able to pull that off, growing. Because I imagine I have no scoop or no info on the amount of people you have signed up, but just judging off of like your social media following and stuff like that, it seems like it's pretty big. I see some ads and stuff. That's how I started buying. I'm pretty pumped, waiting for my June stuff here. So that's crazy. That you guys must put in a lot of hands-on work getting that stuff ready every month.
Yeah, man. Like the when it comes time, like we're packing up June boxes probably next week. And with the amount of orders we've got going out, the two of us, it takes us a good solid week straight. Like I'm talking like 13, 14-hour days of packing to get everything together and shipped out. Because there's so many tiny details that we try and do differently that most other, subscription boxes maybe don't take the time to do. We have a magazine where we explain, the products, why to use them, when to use them, how to use them. There's, workouts that we create inside. There's recipes. There's coupon codes to help our subscribers save money if they find something that they love. We hand pack everything. We handwrite all the notes. We include like a note in every box where we handwrite it to the receiver. There's tissue paper. Everything's kind of meticulously packed. We try and take into consideration, how Canada Post or UPS or whoever's handling the packages is going to handle packages a little more rough than usual. So we try and package everything to make sure everything makes it there in one piece, and the tissue paper kind of holds everything together, and all that stuff. It takes some time, and there's a lot of care that goes into it. So yeah, it does take us quite a while.
That's crazy. This long days, and I imagine only getting busier. Like you said, that's impressive. That just that you running it, and it's definitely cool. Like how you guys do the magazine and stuff. It's not just the product, and I think that people looking for subscription boxes and cool products like those little touches. And I know I'm a member of so much crap that I couldn't even tell you. Like I'm one of those guys that just joins everything and have so many subscriptions I don't even know what I'm paying for anymore. But I definitely like the whole subscription box thing is wicked. Like it's like every time it comes, like with whether it's Barbell Box or anything, I mean the subscription box business has exploded recently. So it's like whenever you get that stuff, it's like Christmas. You're excited to open the package. So
that's exactly it. Like I always say a subscription box is the only way you can buy yourself a gift and not know what you're going to get until you open it. But like you said, it's like Christmas every month, right?
Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it, because everybody loves the online shopping, but it's the one thing, a subscription box, that you can generally what you're gonna get, and that's how you choose what you want. But it's all in the business to go the extra mile and make it like a super sweet experience. And that's awesome. It's why, if I can ask, why where'd you get the idea for the subscription box as opposed to maybe getting into the supplement or a store or something like that? Was it just how'd you fall into that?
I love telling this story, man. It's a crazy story. Maybe it doesn't seem crazy to some people, but to me, like just the way it happened, everything kind of just felt, it was like a perfect storm. So when we started, I was working at CIBC Wood Gundy as an investment analyst. That's CIBC's investment bank. And I hated my job. I couldn't stand it. It was brutal. It was so hard. It's tough when you're working with other people's money. There's a lot of responsibility there. And my wife was also working for CIBC Wood Gundy. She was the executive assistant to the CEO. And she actually got a job as a teacher, which is what she went to school for. But the job was actually out in Canmore in Alberta. And so we, and for her to get a job as a teacher here in Ontario, it's incredibly difficult. The waiting time and the waiting list is huge. And so she got this job out west, and we packed up our stuff, and I quit my job and left with her. And And as we went out there, because I quit my job to move with her to a new place, I got spousal relocation EI. So it's kind of like being out of work, but this is more voluntary because I decided to quit and follow her out there, right? And I had a
Yeah.
university degree. I'd had a bunch of good jobs, high paying jobs, and I thought, you know what, I'll find something when we get out there. I'll be fine. And we got out there, and it was cleaning tables and cleaning hotel rooms. And
Oh, wow.
I remember sitting there and going, okay, well, you know what? I'll take a week or two to myself, just figure it out. And I got really bored really quick. Like, even with this COVID thing, I mean, people were like, hell yeah, I get to stay at home. This is going to be awesome. Yeah, it's great until the second week hits and you're wondering what you're doing with your life. Like, oh my goodness, I can't
Yeah.
watch another Netflix series. Like, what am I going to do? Like, you get bored, right? And
Yeah,
so what
yeah, yeah,
happened
definitely.
was I had my favorite protein, and I had a 5 pound tub, and I had moved it out with me when we left. And I used to work for a bodybuilding magazine in Toronto called Muscle Insider, and
Okay.
I had this protein powder, and I loved it. It was my favorite. It mixed good, it tasted amazing, and so I moved out there with it. It was just part of the stuff that we were moving with us, and we got out there in about a weekend. I finished it, and I ran out, and so I went to the store, the little supplement store that was in Canmore, and they didn't have that brand. And I wasn't really too adventurous. I didn't like deviating from what I knew was good. And
Yeah.
I made the jump. I bought another 5 pound tub of something different. I won't mention the brand, but I mean, it was $100. It was a lot of money. And I got it home, had my first shake, and hated it. It was gross. Man, was it
Oh
gross.
no.
And I put it on the island in our kitchen, and it just kind of sat there. And I think a day later, my wife must have ordered a bark box for our dog. It's like a
Mm.
a little treat box where it comes with like treats and toys and things like that. And
Yeah.
she had put that bark box beside the protein tub on the countertop. And I must have walked by it for days. I mean, I must have walked by it 5 dozen times. And then just one time I walked by both of them sitting there on the island, and I stared at them for a second. I just stopped and I went, I wonder if there's a way like where we could try something like that protein powder that I didn't like, but try it before I spent $100 and bought it. I mean, I know these
Yeah.
companies like to sample out their products. I wonder if they'd go for that. And you know what? That night I sat down and I just started plugging away. I just started piecing things together. I was The only time I could really get any work done was from like 8 o'clock at night when my wife was asleep till 4 o'clock in the morning. So that's what I did. I worked from
Wow.
8 to 4. I watched YouTube videos and taught myself how to code my own website because I couldn't find anything that was doing like the subscription side of things, like that could handle the back end. So I had to come up with like my own way of figuring that out. So I coded my own website, watching YouTube videos. I just started piecing things together and just moving. And every day I'd do something different. And then the first month we launched, I think we got like 8 boxes. And I think fulfilling those 8 boxes, I remember like copying and pasting people's addresses and emails and names into a label, and then like it just took forever to fulfill. And I think like the first month we had just those few orders, and the second month, we doubled, and then the third month, we doubled again. And then I was like, okay, well, we're on to something. I think by month 8, I had supplemented all of my income that I was making at CIBC Wood Gundy. And then later on that year, we got to a point where I just couldn't handle it alone anymore. And Laura ended up quitting her job that we moved out there in the first place for. And she started helping me with like the customer service and the creative side of things. I'm not a creative guy. I'm more of an
Yeah.
operations kind
Yeah.
of. I like numbers and I'm meticulous with things like that. And she's more of like, she loves people, and she's really good with people, and she's really good with like that artsy creative side. And so we just make a really good team. But yeah, that's how it started. And it just kind of started because of those two things sitting on the countertop, and because I just couldn't see myself cleaning dishes and hotel rooms again like I did when I was 16. And
Yeah.
just kind of out of necessity, and slowly plugging away every day, just doing something to move me closer to the goal. And eventually it all came together, and it is what it is now.
Oh wow, yeah, that's crazy. I guess just something so small as, buying the protein and walking by the subscription box, and boom, it blew up. And it just seems like, yeah, like you said, like perfect story. Like, and you guys, really hit it with it, because you could have gone many ways, I guess, in the supplement industry or whatever. And it's just the subscription box just seems, fantastic. And I know there's a lot of people who probably are in the same boat, who yeah, definitely should take a shot on something like that, if they have a hope, like you said, if you're doing something you don't want to do, and you want something bigger, like you get an idea, jump on that for sure. That's awesome. And
Yeah.
to touch over on your other one there, I seen on Instagram your Barbarian Blades. Is it?
Yeah. Yeah. Barbarian
Yeah,
blades. I,
and
uh,
that's
I,
is that newer? Sorry.
yeah, that's a newer company. I don't know what it is. I have this thing. Apparently, I like naming companies with double B's. It's weird, right? Barbell Box, Barbarian Blades. I don't know what it is,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
so I had a
it
buddy.
sounds good.
Yeah, it does sound good.
Yeah,
It has a nice ring to it, right? I had
yeah,
a
yeah,
buddy. I had a buddy, and he came to me, and he's a nuclear operator at OPG, so one of the nuke plants here, one of the nuclear
yeah,
power plants, and he used to work for Savage Arms, which is a firearm company here in Ontario,
yeah,
and he used to be their head designer for firearm manufacturing. So he used to design the rifles that they would produce. And he's really good with a CNC machine. He can do it in his sleep. And I remember him. He just came to me one day and he goes, "Hey, I want to ask you a question." He goes, "You're the only friend I have that I know that's actually started something and grown it to a point where it's self sufficient. It's been on its feet for 5 years, like, and you're still trucking along. I don't want to do any of the business side of things. I just want to build cool knives and cool gun parts and things like that. If I do that, will you do the business side for me?" And I mean, hunting and fishing and just being in the outdoors is a huge passion of mine.
yeah,
I just spent the last 2 weeks out hunting turkeys for turkey season, and so it's something I really enjoy. And I was
yeah,
like, you know what? Yeah, you know what? I could do that because I don't know how to manufacture, and you know how to manufacture, and this is pretty cool. Like being able to build custom stuff. And so he got the machine, and I set up all the business side of things, and yeah, we just hit the ground running, and it's been awesome, man. We've built some cool stuff. They're really unique, really different. Our first knife was it was a collaboration between us and a JTF operator. So for those listeners that don't know what JTF is, stands for Joint Task Force, and it's basically Canada's equivalent to the Navy SEALs. Although I like to think that we're way better trained, and if it came down to JTF2 versus the Navy SEALs, we would win. I'm pretty
yep,
confident in that. And
yep, definitely.
yeah, so we had a JTF2 operator who, they're different because they're allowed to kind of choose their kit, what they have on them. They're allowed to customize, their tactical equipment, their knives, their packs, their patches, their
Yep.
rifle parts. They're allowed to kind of choose what works best for them. And he came to us wanting this knife that he had in his head. And so we sat down with him, and we went back and forth and back and forth, and we finally created something awesome, and something that we hadn't really seen anywhere else. And that's kind of how we got our first design done. And yeah, it's been awesome.
Yeah, that's wicked. I took a look on Instagram, sorry, there, and yeah, there's some pretty sweet knives on there. And it's funny you talk about, yeah, JTF. I myself and Alex here with me, we're both veterans. So I have a few friends that went into JTF, and yeah, that's right up their alley. And even just some of the people I served with in the military, it's just like it's a big passion of a lot of people for outdoor stuff. And a lot of guys are pretty passionate about what they carry with them too. They love to show it off. And I have a couple of buddies that are big into hunting, and yeah, they love their knives. So I'll definitely make sure that they check that out, because those guys, man, you could be out with those guys and you need a knife for something. Maybe you got a rope out or something. You ask for a knife and 5 guys rush to you to bring it over to you. They all want to they all want to show it off. They carry them religiously, but no, that's awesome that it's a passion of yours. And I've never really been big into hunting, but I have some buddies that would definitely be pretty jealous over that the turkey hunt you did for sure. And I do love the outdoors, though. I do a little bit of fishing and stuff like that. I'm not the greatest fisherman. I think the only thing I've caught really is some colds, but it's cool that you created that too. That's awesome. And you're mentioning you're in Ontario, and you're out in Alberta. So we're both in Alberta here right now. Maybe one day I'll get back I am from Ontario. I'm an Ontario boy. So I gotta ask, since you dropped Ontario, are you a Leaf fan?
No, absolutely not. Vancouver.
You're not.
I'm a Canucks
Oh.
fan. My grandfather, he got me into hockey, and he was always cheering for the Leafs. And I don't know, there's just something. I like things that other people don't have. Like I don't know. That's always been the way I am. And so I don't know, something about the Canucks, seeing the Sedin twins, something about the Canucks drew me to them. And so I've been a Canucks fan. We've had some rough years. But yeah, Canucks fan, not a Leafs fan. Mind you,
Okay.
I will watch the Leafs and I will cheer for them, but if it comes down to it, if it's the Canucks versus the Leafs, it's Canucks every time.
Yeah, definitely. Oh no, I'm good to hear that, because we're both we both aren't big Toronto fans, but I know they're huge in Ontario. But no, I guess we'll get some summer hockey at some point here, and Vancouver's in it. I guess almost every Canadian team's in it, I guess, except Ottawa. So should be a different summer watching playoff hockey later on. Hopefully the Canucks can make a little bit of a run.
Do you feel like there'll be an asterisk about this Stanley Cup for the rest of time? Like, do you feel like any team that wins this one, there'll always be that, oh, that was the year that COVID happened. That's not a real season. Do you feel like that might happen?
Well, and I just spoke to earlier today. It's going to be another episode up. I spoke to a journalist who covers the Winnipeg Jets in Winnipeg, and I brought that up too. I said we touched on that topic. For me personally, my personal opinion is I think there will be an asterisk, but I think a lot of people are going to be fine with that, because if you go back a few years to, I think it was 2013 when the Chicago Blackhawks won the cup. It was a lockout year, so it was shortened to a 48 game season, and they won the cup, and there's no asterisk. Like, nobody ever brings up the fact that that happened. I mean, if that happened last year, the Blues never would have won the cup, because they were in last place around the 40-something game mark. So
yeah,
I think there will be an asterisk, but I think people will be okay with that, because one, people are looking for entertainment. So if you bring sports back, bring hockey back for summer playoffs, I think people will be all right with that. And it's still going to be hard to win. Like, they're allowed a few extra teams. You got to win like a play-in round to even get into the playoffs, and then it's 4 best-of-7 series. They just announced that today. So it's still going to be like pretty hard, but you might see, who knows, you could see a crazy team go all the way, just because, you know, after what has it been, 2 months, 3 months off, you don't really know. It could be some wild hockey, but I think the only time the asterisk will be brought up is if say the Leafs win the cup. Is the rest of
that's
Canada?
exactly what I was.
Yeah, the rest of Canada will bring it up, or out here in Alberta, Calgary and Alberta, if one of those teams won the cup, there'd be a war over if there's an asterisk
Yeah,
there or not. But yeah, I
that's
know
exactly what I was thinking.
yeah, definitely. And touching on, I guess going back a little bit to seeing as you started the Barbell Box, what was obviously you said what was the magazine you or the company you worked for before that? Sorry, the muscle, was it muscle
Muscle
something?
Insider.
Muscle
Yeah,
Insider.
they're a Canadian bodybuilding magazine. And when I went to school in Toronto, I was in a fraternity, and my what we call a big brother, which is kind of like your mentor in the fraternity, him and his buddy had started this bodybuilding magazine and grown it into, I think second largest fitness magazine in the country. And so I hopped on with them, and I started working kind of as an intern just because it was something I enjoyed. I used to be 280 pounds
Oh wow.
before I lost about 100 pounds in a 16-week period, and it was because of these guys. I got super into fitness. I started realizing, like what I was eating. I hadn't really paid attention much to my nutrition, and it didn't really register with me that I was doing this to myself. I was just completely oblivious. And so when I started working with them, something about supplements drew me in. And what they ended up doing with me is they ended up using me for I had a column every month in the magazine. They called it the Supplement Hound. And it was like a review column where I would get supplements and samples from companies and try them out, and then give my honest opinion on them and explain, a little more about the ingredients and what makes them different, and why maybe they're at that price point, and so I would just explore that, and I think that got me into supplements and made me into not an expert, but a little more well versed than your average person on the ingredients and the science behind supplements and how they work. And so from there, I think I just developed that passion, and it kind of led into the Barbell Box. I had other things that I have this journal. I keep this journal with me everywhere I go. I take it everywhere. And what I do with it is every time I have an idea, when you have ideas and then you're trying to remember them, or maybe you're not even trying to remember them, you just don't remember them at all. And so with this notebook that I carry around with me everywhere, when I have an idea, if I'm driving, I'll pull over and write it down. And so I go back through this notebook all the time, and I go, you know what, that idea might not have worked, 2 years ago when I wrote it down, but that might be something feasible now. And that's kind of what Barbell Box was. I think I thought of something similar, but it was for children.
Oh,
It was for
okay.
children in like third year university, that I kind of thought of this for children. And when I went back through that book, it kind of helped spark some of the idea, where I went, you know what, I kind of had that idea before, but in a different area.
Yeah.
And this might work now. And so, yeah, that booklet I think is key. Like I keep it with me at all times. I always write in it and just jot down quick ideas, and then look back over it every once in a while and see if there's anything juicy in there that sparks something now. So yeah, that's kind of how Muscle Insider tied in there to the Barbell Boxing and got me started.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's something that I think a lot of people kind of who've gone on to some success in entrepreneurship or whatever, I've heard that a lot of times is the tip to jot stuff down, kind of, you might think you're going to remember it or whatever, but, or like you said, it might not seem feasible at the moment, but to touch back on it later. So I got to ask, since we got it kind of on the topic of fitness there, and how you got into fitness, your passion for fitness and stuff like that. What what's your workouts been like since COVID? Like, do you have a home gym set up, or have you been had to readjust, or what's been going on with you?
So when we moved back from Alberta, um, we moved back here for family. We have grandparents that were getting old, and I didn't want to miss out with some of those final years that we might have had with them. And so when we
Yeah.
moved back here, we moved to Peterborough, and Peterborough, I mean, it's a fairly big city. It's, you know, you got Good Lifes and other gyms in the area, so that was no big deal. But then my wife and I moved out north of Kingston, and out here there's not. I mean, the closest gym is like a 40-minute drive, and just to drive an hour and a half almost every day to go to the gym. I mean, eventually, I mean, that takes out 3 hours out of your day just driving to and from plus working out at the gym, right? So I was lucky that about a year ago, I bought a Rogue Power Rack and I have cable. I have a cable set up where it's like the commercial cables that are dual sided. So you've got one cable on each side, and in the middle there's like a pull up bar. And I've got dumbbells, and I built my garage into like a gym, and it does the trick. I mean, it's not the same as uh, going to a gym and getting to use all the awesome equipment and different variations of things that they have there. But I'm lucky enough, and I took it for granted too. I used to always say, like, in my head, oh man, I miss like going to the gym and like having all that variety and like, you know, a good leg press instead of just doing squats all the time, or, you know,
Yeah.
a good hammer strength chest press or something like that instead of just benching all the time. And I used to take it for granted. And when this happened, I was like, man, I could see how everyone else was struggling and just how difficult it was for them to adjust with not having anything, you know, using bands on doors and,
Yeah.
you know, push ups and like, oh man, I just couldn't imagine. So I'm so fortunate that I have a home gym in my garage that's, you know, it's basically, I mean, it doesn't have every machine that you have in a commercial gym, but I can do pretty much everything that I could do before at the gym in the garage. So I'm lucky in that sense.
Yeah, that's good. It's funny that you bring up the bands. I've seen seen quite a bit of videos of people getting smacked with those or not setting them
Oh
up
yeah.
right. But
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Did you see the one where it was a incline bench press on like a plastic Adirondack chair? Have you
Oh no,
seen that one?
I don't think I've
Oh
seen that
man,
one. No.
Buddy picks up some 80s and he's in like his lot, or he's in like his yard, right? In one of those Muskoka chairs.
Yeah.
And but it's the cheap plastic one that you can get from like Canadian Tire for $30, right? But it's got a
Oh,
slight
okay.
incline on it. And so
Yeah.
he throws the 80s up on his knees and then he leans back into the chair with the 80s, pushing them over his head, and the chair just disintegrates beneath him. Just epic collapse, plastic pieces flying everywhere, and he just eats the 80s on the ground.
Wow.
It's funny to watch. I mean, he didn't get hurt or anything, but
Yeah.
man, it was, you see him doing it and you're like, oh man, how do you not see how this is going to end? I see how this is
Yeah.
going to end 10 seconds before it happens. I know what's going to happen here. How are
Yeah.
you not seeing this?
I've seen enough of those to know how this is gonna end for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's crazy. It's been a struggle for so many people. I have so many friends that have had a rough time. For me, I don't have a home gym, but I do have some basics, I guess. Unfortunately, I don't have like, I would die for a squat rack or something like that, but I have quite a few different weights of dumbbells and kettlebells, and I already like to run, and I got a good road bike to use. So I've been able to keep fit at least, but I'm definitely like, I badly need to get back in. It sucks when you can't get, like, for most people, and you can't get like the proper lifts in for strength.
Yeah.
You body weight is good, but it's you're gonna lose some of the strength that you worked on. But yeah,
We have a subscriber. Sorry, we have a subscriber. His name's Devin Raw on Instagram. I think it's mountain breeze.fit. And what this dude has done, it's incredible. He's like built squat racks and stuff out of 4x4s, and like he's drilled holes, and he's using like, those black iron like pipes for plumbing.
Oh yeah.
He's made like pull up handles and pull up bars with those. It looks sweet. I'm pretty sure he built like this squat rack and this whole setup. He's got cables running through it with pulleys and stuff.
Okay.
He's using cinder block. He's using cinder blocks on like 2x4s to squat. I'm pretty sure he built this whole setup for like $300 max.
Wow.
And it's just cool. Like if you go and look at his Instagram profile, I think like his last like 60 or so images or videos are all like the evolution of like his at-home gym system, and it's really cool. I think it really inspired some people. We were trying to share them a lot because just thought it was such a great idea, and I think it inspired a lot of people to kind of build their own thing at home. So yeah, anyways, I just wanted to say something about that because I thought it was something really cool, and I hadn't seen anyone else do anything like it.
No, that's a wicked idea. Like you said, just for the price and that idea, like you don't see many people doing that. I've seen like lots of fails, like lots of I guess poor man's versions of that. Even my my girlfriend here at home, she's I've come home before and seen her with the broomstick or the grocery bags out, and I laugh to myself, but I guess everyone's got to do what they got to do. But
yeah,
I guess now we're starting to. I know like Manitoba and Saskatchewan, I think, BC, New Brunswick, they're all starting to come out, announce dates, and including gyms and phases. So hopefully soon at some point this summer, people can kind of start to work on getting back to where they were before this. Hopefully. I mean, some people, fantastic especially if you don't have the equipment, if you were able to, improve. I kind of maintained somewhat, but, I was able to focus on other stuff. And, I think that's key if during the COVID thing, if you like, whether you improved or stayed status quo, or maybe you improved on, your job or something in your life, that's good. It's starters, I guess, for a bad situation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, anyways, Chad, thanks a lot for having us, or for us having you, I should say. It's been good talk. I really suggest everybody who hasn't already checked out Barbell Box or Barbarian Blades to give it a check on Instagram or social media. It's cool stuff. I know I'm subscribed. I think Alex, I don't know. I'm subscribed though, and it's awesome. I'm pumped for June, sorry, to get my box, and definitely wish you guys best of luck. Sounds like you're keeping busy and growing still. So best of luck there, and thanks a lot for coming on today.
Yeah, awesome, man. Thank you so much for having me. This was cool. It's been my first podcast, and it was a great experience. I loved it.
Yeah, definitely. No, it's it was good to chat and let everybody know if they haven't already heard about kind of what you built there. It's good for people to hear that. It's a cool story and it's a cool business. So best of luck with that, and thanks a lot again.